Hey, Church Pastor Dan here. I wanted to make a short video for you about Bible translations. Since we're starting the Gospel according to Luke, one of the questions that I've been thinking a lot about recently is what translation do I want to preach from? Historically, I've preached from the English Standard Version in my preaching ministry, which is very similar to the NASB translation, which we have in the Pew Bibles at our church. There are a number of other good Bibles too, and I want to kind of take a second and show you this graphic. It says Bible Translation Continuum. I got this from Mardel's online, and it's a continuum of some of the main translations, the most popular translations in the English language. And you'll see that all the way on the far left it says word for word, and then on the far right it says thought for thought. And so then over on the left side underneath it says word for word, which is a literal or formal equivalent translation philosophy. And it says it's the process of converting words or text from one language into another. So all that means is they're looking at the actual words of the Greek manuscripts that we have and just directly translating those word for word. Now, that has its advantages, but it also has its disadvantages. Obviously, the advantage is that you're seeing the exact words. However, the downfall is phrases and stuff might not make as much sense in English because of idioms and expressions perhaps they used in the first century that wouldn't make sense to us in the 21st century. And then over on the other side that says thought for thought, dynamic or functional equivalent translation philosophy, which is expressing the meaning of a text or passage using other words. So basically they are looking at the Greek text also, but they're kind of looking a little bit bigger picture. Instead of just word for word, they're asking, what is this sentence saying? And how do we put that into English language in a way that people would understand? So it's a slightly different philosophy, but at the bottom it says all versions of the Bible use a mix of both philosophies in an effort to produce a Bible that is both accurate and clear to the reader. And to anybody who says that Bible translation is a simple thing or that it should just be crystal clear, they probably haven't spent much time doing it because it's very complex. I want to take a minute though and look at the translations on this continuum. You'll see on the far left there it says interlinear. Basically the interlinear Bible is just the Greek text with the translation of the word under each word. Okay, so it's a very wooden thing, but if you want to see the translations of the words, you can. And then the NASB is the next one over. The AMP, which I believe is the Amplified Bible, the English Standard Version. And I would say even in ranking these from left to right, there's definitely got to be some subjectivity depending on who did this. But the King James Version is over towards the middle a little bit, and then the NKJV, and then the Net Bible, which honestly is another great translation that comes out of the Tyndale House in England. But then as you get over now into the Thought for Thought, the CSB, which is the main translation by the Southern Baptist Church, the NRSV, the NIV, which even though I know the NIV has taken some hits in recent years, especially before 2011, well, I really trust the people who translate the NIV. I think it's a good translation. There's the ICB, the New Living Translation, which is really about as far right on the thought for thought continuum as I would want to go. It's a great translation to give to teenagers or somebody who's just learning scripture. And then you'll see the NIRV. And then the two that you really need to watch out for in the thought for thought that's on this list are TPT, which is the Passion Translation, and then the Message. I'm not sure I would even put TPT to the left of the Message. I would probably put it to the right of the Message. The Passion Translation, in short, this is just not one that I would recommend. In fact, BibleGateway.com, which is one of the main Bible sites out there, removed it from their website. It's not even actually a translation or a paraphrase. Brian Simmons, he did it really as a solo project. I cannot find any New Testament scholar who supports or advocates for the Passion Translation out there. That's one I would stay away from. And then the Message Bible, which was written by Eugene Peterson, who was a Bible scholar at Regent University for several decades. Even that, Peterson didn't set out to write a translation or a paraphrase. It's really his own poetry. It's kind of just his poetic reflections on the text. And it's beautiful, it's just not a translation. So going forward, I'm probably going to be preaching mainly from the ESV translation. I think that's my plan. But I'll also be leaning on the NASB. And sometimes it goes back and forth. Sometimes it's the NASB, sometimes it's the ESV, sometimes I like how the CSB puts it. So if you have more questions about Bible translations, please feel free to ask. Thanks for your time.